33. Solve the inequality. This is a compound inequality. And the way we solve for this question, because you have the x here, the x occur in a different interval. So the way we can solve for it, we group the left hand side 2, and then we group the other 2. So the way we rearrange this question is 5 plus x greater or equal than 3x minus 7. The other interval would be 3x minus 7 greater than 5x plus 13. Let me use another color. So I group these two. So you have 3x minus 7 greater than 5x plus 13. Now we put the and in the between because this inequality, the original inequality, they have the 3 different intervals, but they come together. So we don't put an or here, we put an and. Now we solve for it. X bring to the same side. I'm going to bring the 3x to the left hand side. I get a negative 2x greater or equal than 5. Go to the right hand side. It turns to the minus 5. So combine with the negative 7, you get a negative 12. Now we divide by negative 2. We have to swap the sign. So negative 12 divided by negative 2, it turns to a positive 6. And the inequality sign changes the direction because you have the negative value of the x. Now we do the other way. We do the other one. 3x minus 7 greater than 5x. Same way I bring the 5x to the left hand side. So it turns to the negative 2x greater than negative 7. When you go to the right, it turns to the positive 7. So you have the 20. Again, you divide by negative 2. So the sign changed the direction. And on the right hand side, you have the negative 10. So you have the and in the between. So now we draw the number line. We label the 6. 6 is a closed point. Negative 10 is an open circle. The x is less equal than 6. So you can pick whatever number you want. Go to the negative infinity. Any number as long as less or equal to 6, that work. Another interval, we have x less than negative 10. Let me use another color. X less than negative 10, that means not include the point negative 10. You can pick any number less than negative 10, but not include this point. So all the number less than 10 that work. Now, since we have the and event, we are looking the part that overlap. So if you look at these two shading line, you can see after negative 10, go to negative infinity. That would be the part that overlap. So the interval of this one to satisfy this inequality question would be negative infinity is open on the left hand side, comma, negative 10 is open to the right hand side. So the key word is this question, you need to understand it has an and event because they stick together. So you don't put an or, you need to put the and. If this question change to the or event, the interval will change to negative infinity, comma, 6, close it. But this is not the case. Number 38, solve the inequality, express the solution set in interval notation. So this question has the absolute value, right? So the first thing, I'm going to divide by 5 because this 5 is kind of like is a coefficient number. We get rid of it. In order to rewrite your absolute value into the inequality interval, we need to get a single absolute value first. And then you can rewrite from there. So we have 5x minus 1 over 4 greater or equal than 1/5. Now I have the single absolute value. I can start to apply with the rule to rewrite it. We have the greater equal, right? So when you have the A with absolute value greater equal than C, we rewrite the absolute value into the A greater equal than C, or A less equal than C, negative C. So we rewrite into this form, 5x minus 1 over 4. And once you rewrite it, start to rewrite it, this no longer has the absolute value bar. So set that greater equal than 1/5, or 5x minus 1 divided by 4, set that less equal than negative 1/5. Now we solve for it. I'm going to multiply 4 and 5 on both sides, which is 20, to get rid of the denominator, because the least common multiple is 20. So this 4 cross out. So you will have 5 times 5x minus 1 greater equal than 4. Or do the same thing, multiply 20 here, multiply 20 here. So you get a 25 multiply 5x minus 1 less equal than negative 4. So now we distribute it. We have 25x minus 5 greater equal than 4. Bring the 5 to right hand side. So we have 25x. Let me erase here. It's not nice to see that way. Bring the 5 to the right hand side. It turns to the 9. Now we divide by 25 to the both sides. So we get an x greater than 9 over 25. Or do the same way here. 25x minus 5 less equal than negative 4. So 25x less equal than 1. Because negative 5 turns to the right hand side. It turns to the positive. So 5 minus 4, you get a 1. Divide by 25, it gives us x less equal than 1 over 25. Now draw the number line. I label the 9 over 25 and a 1 over 25. So I put a 0 here, 1 here. So 9 over 25 is about here. Okay, greater equal, right? So it's a greater equal 9 over 25. Or x less equal than 1 over 25. So less than 1 over 25. So the shade region go to the different direction. The most left hand side has negative infinity. The most right hand side has a positive infinity. So the shade region that cover everywhere except the interval between 1 over 12 and 1 over 25 and 9 over 25. So the way we give the interval notation will be negative infinity, comma, 1 over 25. It's a bracket. Union, another bracket open, 9 over 25, comma, infinity, and you close it. Alright, so the answer choice is B. Now we have two more. The first two questions. Number 1, x represents a real number. Find any restriction on x. Finding the restriction point, that means most of case you will have the fraction of the fraction form. So as long as we don't get a 0 on the bottom, and then the fraction will continue, we can find where is that point at. Or when you have the unknown variable on the bottom, as long as we avoid make the bottom part turn to the 0, then the function will continue. So getting the restriction point, you simply to set a denominator, right? Not equal 0. That's the idea. Then from here you solve for x. X cannot equal 7. So x cannot equal 7. That would be the restriction point. Because when you have the x equals 7, your bottom part will turn to the 0. 5 over 0 is undefined. Nobody knows where is that. So we want to avoid the 0. Number 2, x represents a real number. Find any restriction point. X plus 3 equals 6. This is not a rational, right? This is not a fraction form. This is a linear. So when you solve for this one, 3 go to the right hand side, it turns to the -3, so 6 minus 3 is 3. You have a particular solution. We solve for x, right? This is a linear function. There's no restriction point for your linear function. That's the reason why we go with no restriction, because it is a linear. So you don't, technically we solve for x equals 3, right? But now the question is ask you restriction point, not the solution of the x. If the question asks you the solution of x, of course you answer 3. But this question is asking for restriction point. You just simply to say no restriction point. And that's it. Because this is not a fraction form.